Can we just take
I love that intro.
Can we extend that intro? Just
I love that.
Right, well,
Just some more dancing.
Wow.
I don't know about y'all, but I am dancing because of next week's match. Did you see what match is going to be in 2025?
Yes. On my birthday, too, actually.
That's a heck of a birthday present for you.
I know.
We got a Dan, and an Eric. Wow. That's,
Well, what better way do you kick off 2025 with 3 huge names like that to kick off TKN in the brand new year?
No better way.
Love you.
Hey, Michael, thank you
Eric, welcome.
There's
time.
Time for time.
Hello.
Super drink.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hello to everybody that's
Hello.
in the TKN post show, man.
Yeah.
The after party.
We're the
I
party.
didn't get to do
Let's
this
go.
last week. That's the most fun intro I think I've ever encountered with anything.
Yeah.
We got to work on your dance moves a little bit.
Amazing.
Little more energy.
Yeah, it's
Let me do it. I mean,
That's true.
Look, I'm still hearing that in my head.
the best comparison I had to my dancing is: have you ever seen an ostrich in a minefield? So do that.
I can work with that.
I would love to see that.
This episode on Paper Knife eventually, but
Okay.
we have a huge match next Saturday.
Oh my God. Super.
Olympic gold medalist Dan Jansen.
Not wait.
Award-winning actor Dan Lauria.
Current
And-
WWE superstar.
Current WWE superstar.
Superstar.
Yep.
I mean,
Crazy.
and I think it's not like
Rowan, I can't think of it. I apologize.
Joseph Rude.
Joseph Rude.
Joseph Rude,
No,
yeah.
Eric Rowe.
If you missed Joseph Rude's round 1 match, please go to the YouTube channel and find that under the live tab and watch that, because that man should definitely be in everybody's top 10.
Yes.
Any improvements there?
He's a force to be reckoned with, not only in the ring, but in our arena as well. So,
Yes.
but there's nobody in round 2 that doesn't deserve to be here. Just flat out isn't. Because Dan are no slouches.
Absolutely. Well, Dan Jansen was part of the only topic where we declared a no vote, because there was absolutely no way we could vote on the answers that he and Mike Rotunda did on that topic. It was beautiful and heart-wrenching, and
Well,
I don't even. Oh
Yeah.
gosh!
kind of jumping on what Kelly said. Do you know who else isn't a slouch?
Everyone?
Hey.
Welcome, Ramone. Welcome to your first post show.
I know. I'm excited.
Do it.
From the festivities.
What are your instant thoughts, instant reaction to next week's match?
Oh, absolute classic. I cannot wait to see that. That is going to be amazing. It's going to be great to see those guys back. Oh man. I was such a fan of Dan Lauria in that first round. Like I was such a fan of Joseph, and I was such a fan of Dan. Dan Jansen. Like, oh my God. The powerhouses in this next match. Oh, it's going to be of epic proportions. Anybody who wants to see an amazing night of more emotional discoveries, like, you got to watch next week's match. You have to. You have to.
You have
to lose one of those amazing competitors. How can you possibly lose someone who is a Dan Jansen, a Dan Lauria, or a Joseph Rude? This is kind of inconceivable to me. Miranda?
All of them are going to bring it. Every single one. Like, I just know it. And we say this every single week. Like we said, nobody is in this round that doesn't deserve to be here. Everyone's here to bring it. And they are definitely going to bring it. And I'm going to make some early predictions. I'm thinking, I got to think about it more, but I'm thinking that it's going to be Dan Jansen and Joseph. I think Joseph's going to definitely be in there for sure. But the other two Dans, it's gonna be close. But Joseph, I can sense it. He wants it for sure.
Well, we saw it in the intro today. He wants to take that chicken dinner away from Mike Rotunda. And
Mhm.
Justin probably wants to do that too.
Right. What do you think, Chad?
Well, you know, they're, as I said, the three of these gentlemen just bring so much to the table. And, you know, watching their matches, they all bring something just amazing. Amazing. You have one of America's favorite TV dads in Dan Lauria. The man just connects with everybody. You know what I mean? At some point in our life, the man understands something about being a dad, just being able to connect with people. And then you got somebody like Dan Jansen. The man knows what it's like to be a champion. He knows what it's like to train. He knows what it's like to fight and to overcome odds and obstacles. I mean, man, he had all of us in tears his last match. Like, he just brings so much to the table. But for me, I really think the man that's going to blow this match away is going to be one Eric Rudd. This man seems to come out of nowhere. I mean, he's a new upcoming talent between the three of them. And this man is just so knowledgeable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on this, Kelly? Do you agree with me, or are you going to go a different way on this?
Well, I mean, it's good points. I mean, you and Miranda both. You know, but I kind of look at it as, you know, the competition itself. I mean, Dan Jansen, Olympic athlete, yes, he knows how to train at the absolute most elite level of anybody. But again, that's physical. You know, Joseph Rude, if you know anything about wrestling at his level, there's no off season.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking, you know, 250 days, road days, matches every year. There's no stop. He understands what it's like to train, stay in shape, you know, go through all this. But again, it's physical. Then you got Dan Lauria. Now, I don't know what Dan did in the past per se. I mean, he doesn't come across as a real athletic dude later in life. None of us do. But all of his stuff, memorizing lines, you know, for huge parts, you know, hitting his marks, doing all this is purely mental. So you see where I'm going. But I'm going to shoot myself in the foot because as a wrestler, there is so much mentality to it, just like there is with Olympics. I don't think there's a clear-cut victor. I don't think there's an underdog. I will stick, and you know, I'm going to say it again. It's going to come down to the actual topics. So yeah, I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm not going to do it because there's no point at this level of competition. What do you think, Howard? I mean, what's your take?
Yeah, I was actually been writing down notes, listening to you guys. You know, I sometimes think the criteria for me is, you know, can they make a good solid argument, and could they, you know, put it together in a way that's you know, it moves us, it's clear, and also, you know, are you also able to kind of open up and really kind of allow us to kind of inside the heart, peek inside the soul, because I think those are where so many beautiful moments happen. And you know, last time, you know, Dan spoke about his sister and what that whole experience was like when he was in the Olympics. Guys, he's mourning, if I'm not mistaken, he was mourning his sister and going through that situation while he's trying to win a gold medal. Man, that's not strength and resiliency. I don't know what is. And he decided to share that with us. And that was just, that was beautiful. So he has both of those, you know, he has both of those skills. And Lauria is an amazing storyteller. I mean, God, I grew up on, you know, the Wonder Years, and I wanted him as a dad at some point. You know?
You say you would want Joseph Rude as your dad?
Well, hey, I'll get to him. I'll get to Joseph Rude. I want his beard. There should be a beard contest between you, Chad, and Joseph. But an amazing storyteller on Broadway. He played Vince Lombardi, which is really awesome. But what he did here was as amazing and profound as well. So don't ever underestimate Dan Lauria. And then you got Joseph Rude again, right? I don't know if you guys remember this, but he talked very eloquently about Charlie Chaplin. I'm not mistaken. And he also kind of shared about his family and being a father and his father. And it was a beautiful thing to kind of witness. So, okay, who do I pick? Tough one. I'm okay. I'll say this: I'm rooting for Joseph. I'm rooting for Joseph Rude. Okay,
Yes.
and I'm rooting for Dan. Both Dans. Dan squared. So,
Dan squared.
And squared.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love it.
We are going to have to separate that Dan squared at some point, Howard, because one will be eliminated. And I thought it was hard to make a prediction 2 weeks ago. I have no idea with this one. Both of all three really are full of heart. They want to share that. Dan Lauria is so relatable. Dan Jansen understands the stamina that needs to go into the competition. We call it a sport of the mind, and it really is. Even Mark Metcalf earlier this evening spoke about how we've managed to turn a philosophical conversation into a competition. So we are really merging a lot of the worlds here. And I think that's where a lot of the athletes really do excel, because they have that mental preparation and that physical preparation. They understand how that goes hand in hand and the stamina required. But then the storytellers also understand that stamina. They understand what it's like to be under lights in front of a screen, have a million people look at them, look for any instance of wrongdoing, look to be the best at any point in time. All three have a really good combination of the mental and physical stamina that it takes to win a competition like this. I am going to be so sad to see one of them go. I don't know if I can make a prediction. Joseph Rude's been one of my favorites since his first appearance. I'd love to see more from him and see him go far, especially because he seems so unexpected. Dan Lauria, I'm just going to say it. I know he's America's sweetheart in this tournament. Who doesn't want a Dan Lauria? I just want to give him a big old hug, but he's smart and he's so intelligent and so kind and so thoughtful through all of it. And Dan Jansen, not afraid to speak about what happened to his sister, about what happens to athletes after they've won a huge competition like that, coaches, changing coaches, training. It's so hard. Right now, this might change. It might not. I don't know. Early predictions are going to be Lauria and Rude. Larry, you are a bit newer to TKN's family here. You might not have seen some of these early matches, but I know you're going back and watching everything on this lovely YouTube site on which we are currently airing. So what do you think about this match? How do these three competitors fit together, complement each other, contrast each other?
Dan Jansen, the athlete, but he's used to high pressure situations and winning. Dan Lauria, it's America's dad. The Wonder Years, just like Howard. I grew up on that. How many road trips did we take with him? And how many times did we get in trouble and get grounded and get yelled at? We're right in those shows. And so you have the storyteller. Then you have Joseph Rude. Wrestling's an interesting animal because he is an athlete, but he is also a storyteller. And Chad, I'm not going to go. I could go all day about him. And Chad knows what I mean. He had a mentor within wrestling who was the son of Mike Rotunda. And he took Joseph Rude under his wing when he came to the WWE and as part of their family. And unfortunately, Brody Lee passed away. And also Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt passed away. So he has a fire in him. And the man is so elegant. He's so underutilized. He's my top pick just because I I am a fan, but if I have to judge, I'll definitely pull that out of it because I'm a fan of the other two guys as well. Is it wrong to hope for a tie and we have a match later on to where they have to take each other on?
Absolutely not.
To be 2025 beginning, it's insane. Ramone, you're a wrestling fan like I am. Thoughts, opinions?
I mean, 100%, 100%. I want to piggyback off of what you said with him being taken under Bray Wyatt's wing, and I do want to talk about that because he has ridden with like two of his brothers, and they are both unfortunately fallen. So he has those stories, and he has that motivation underneath him to be that person to carry on their memory, and he will in this tournament. And he has those stories, and he has all of his family to think about too. Like, I love it when the celebrities go in and they talk about family and they talk about friends. That's mostly what gets me. And when he talked about his son and like him pretty much being the protector of that child, like that really got to me. And like, I loved it when he talked about that. So he honestly has like my top vote when it comes to it. And I'm also glad that Howard brought up for Dan Jansen about his daughter, because it was his daughter, correct? Was his
sister.
Yeah.
His sister. That was something that I did not like remember from last time, because there's so many points that like they brought up, and like I'm glad you brought that up because that actually changed my mind because I was going to go with Dan Lauria, but then that actually changed my mind about who my prediction was going to go for. So at least as it stands right now, that those are my two that I'm going to go with.
There's so many points, but you know who can provide 10?
Ooh.
Who's
ready, bro? You ready?
Yeah.
Right here, baby.
You ready?
Hello,
Mr. Number One.
everybody, and welcome to my second edition of Chad's Top 10 Live. And tonight's topic will be who I think my top 10 sleeper picks in the tournament. Now, for those that don't know what a sleeper pick means, it doesn't mean you are an underdog in any kind of way. It just simply means the tournament has been going on for so long. We have so many amazing, incredible celebrities, luminaries, you name it, we have it. But there's people that, you guys just may not have been around for, didn't know that they're in the tournament, or you may simply have just forgotten about them. But believe me, these 10 people that are on this list, you should never, ever forget about them, because here we go, everybody. Starting off with my number 10, we have the one, the only, Mr. Mick Garris. Right?
I like that.
We haven't heard about Mick in a while. We do talk about him once in a while when we bring up horror and whatnot. And I mean, we can't talk about everybody all the time. There's just so many people. But you guys know, if you guys saw Mick in his very first match, he brought it and he came on strong. I mean, you could see the fire in his eyes. He may be the kind of guy that likes to sit back, laid back. But when he comes across with his points, they sit up here with you. They make you, they you resonate with him. It's just the man's so easy to resonate with.
Right.
Okay. So from there, I went, well, let's keep it on the horror, because here's another man that somebody seems to tend to forget quite a bit about, And I mean, why not add Tom Holland to the list?
Yes.
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 Yup.
You know, and another creative mind, brilliant, like just utterly brilliant. And I mean, these are people that, you know, we're forgetting that are in the tournament. Why? I don't know why we're not remembering them. The man's a creator of like Chucky and all great things like that. Who can forget Chucky, right?
Can't forget Chucky.
There's 130 plus people in this tournament. One of us is bound to forget somebody on any given day, but yeah, forgetting Tom Holland
Right?
is here as well. Is whew.
The man literally brings his nightmares, so how can we forget about him?
As long as he's not bringing the doll my way, I'm good.
Right?
Yeah,
I would love
The dog just needs a hug.
I would love to see it all.
Just hug it.
You know, though, Chad, nightmares don't really bother me that much. So, but
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from,
The
though.
human nightmare.
Right?
Mm.
And then from
Manifest
that,
those
I went,
nightmares.
you know, number 8 is it's got to be Greg Louganis.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
He-
Yes.
He's another man who, you know, trains very hard.
Mhm.
He has a regiment to keep on. He knows what it's like to be a champion. You know, you add all of that together with a bit of knowledge and to train into doing like a tournament style thing like this, you can turn a champion in an athlete's world into a champion in a tournament just like
No
this
doubt.
on
Right.
knowledge and just smart things that, you know, people would not imagine.
Greg
Well,
Louganis also has a gymnastics and a storytelling background. Hello.
Happy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Aw.
I have to further Chad's point because that's a great selection when he picked
Yes.
Greg Louganis. I want to jump in the water, not as good as Greg used to, but I want to bring this factoid up. When he was around in round number 1, first off, a 1-year anniversary of that matchup, Greg Louganis and Stacey Keach. That happened a year ago. Mark Henry was the judge. I want to bring this up because I think it's very, very important to bring up. When Stacey Keach was having tech problems, which might have cost him in round 1, it would cost him in round 2. We'll get to that in a minute. It did cost him in round number 1. Greg Louganis, this guy held court for 62 minutes on his own,
Man.
That's
bringing up point after point, story after story, resonating with the masses and the masses and the masses. And he did it with charm, with honesty. The guy obviously has incredible endurance and stamina. I think you were there that night. Greg Louganis is a guy who I think understands the dynamics here in this tournament. My question to Chad, as he continues with his top 10 before he moves on for his next pick, is, Chad, do you think that Greg can kill in this tournament with kindness, and why?
I think so.
That's a good question.
And I mean, there's one and only simple answer I think everybody will concur with, is you take a look at him, and as soon as you see him, all you see is this. That big, bright smile of his.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
that-
And his
he's not afraid to bring out the cute dog.
I was just gonna say,
Dog. You can't forget about the doggy factor.
How did you go wrong?
yeah.
Him, RVD. Who else paid the pet tax and brought their dogs on screen?
Nancy.
Oh, yeah,
Gale.
yeah, we heard Nancy's dogs in the background.
Nancy
We actually hear Scott's dogs in the background, and
Yeah, until our favorite Canadian told the dog to shut up.
Okay, so from going on from there, I hope it's okay if you guys don't mind that I jump on. I know we have a lot of time.
yeah,
but,
who's next?
You know, I'd
Please do.
like to give you guys some time, you know, to do what you guys do best too. But yeah, another man that we just spoke about, the one and only Dan Loria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
what I mean,
I don't know if
what
he's,
better time to have Dan be on the top 10 than to be picked for next week's amazing match to open up 2025.
That's incredible.
Good timing.
You
And
know what I mean?
Chad, did you see this comment from Lester?
No, I did not actually.
Oh, why don't you go ahead and read
That he does.
Thank you, Lester. I appreciate everything, Lester, everybody in the comment section has to say about me. I totally enjoy doing what I do for you guys. You guys make me want to be a bigger and better person each and every day. The cast that's around me, these guys made me who I am. I focalized what I wanted to be in life, and all I had to do is look around. Oh, these amazing smiling faces. This is my family, and they mean everything to me. They make me want to be such a bigger and better person every day, and I just love them, and I thank you all for that. And that includes everybody.
You were pointing at Miranda, not Howard, right?
Everybody.
Even though I'm gonna beat you, Chad, I still love you too.
No,
Bring it on. I mean,
collusion.
we can smile now, cry later, right?
That should be on a shirt somewhere. Smile now, cry later.
Exactly. Digs in while you can, because later on you won't be laughing. Okay, so with that, we will bring on the one and only Greg Oden.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Another name that a lot of people just probably didn't remember that's in the tournament, or they just were not a part of the tournament when this had happened. So I mean, it's a fun list that I like to bring up, and I mean, it's a name that I definitely haven't heard being thrown around much as of late. We all know that he's a tremendous competitor. He fights with heart. And I mean, just when you think he's out of it, the man can come back within the snap of a finger, change the audible, change the play, and I mean, just blow everybody away.
And thanks to that lineup, Greg Oden and Miko Hughes speak bi-weekly.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They epitomize that saying, strangers become friends. If you remember, they hit it off. Greg Oden's a film buff.
Okay.
So Greg was kind of, in wrestling terms, marking out when he saw Miko Hughes. Remember round one, we had mysteries across the board. Everything was a mystery. We got much more of those coming up too. But just wanted to kind of get a little fact to it again. Now Miko and Greg are buds, even though they're in a different bracket in this tournament. They're kind of rooting and pulling for each other.
That's amazing.
That's adorable.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That is the best possible outcome.
Yes. That's so amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, let's go to number 5. Mark Ripken.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And another one, you know what I mean? He brings it to the table. A man full of knowledge.
Right.
He definitely made his name and a mark in the tournament in his first match. Like, I mean, there's not many Canadians, but other than this Canadian, I'd be worried about that Canadian too. There's a few Canadians you need to worry about, and I'll let you find out.
Well, Chad, not me, even though he thought I was Canadian, if you remember.
You're my Canadian brother, one way or another. Abby. You got a bit of Canadian in you, my brother. One way a Canadian in you.
I think of one other Canadian, and I hope he's showing up on your list too, Chad, because he is definitely one we should not be forgetting about. So if he's not on your list, I'll say his name, but we'll wait till the end of your list to find out if he's on there.
And before we continue, guys, you got to admit, there's a certain intrigue, right? When you find out Chad's giving you his top 10, I don't know about you, but my ears get perked up. I can't wait to hear what he's going to divulge, because it's always deep. It always makes me think. It always gives me that eureka moment, that aha moment.
Yes.
As we get closer to number 1, my mind is already playing possibilities beyond Chad's mind. So let's continue.
Most definitely. And then number 4, let's go down to one Mr. Magnum TA.
Oh yeah.
Yes, of course.
You know, he's another man who has a lot of heart. He definitely showed us in round number 1 why he needs to be here, why he's in number 2. You know, he's I hate saying I have favorites, because that means if I have to be a judge in any of the matches, then I have to be impartial. But I mean, when I saw Magnum come into this tournament, man, I was woo-hoo! that in itself, that's why I give Magnum his props, his dues. He's just somebody that, you know, we may have forgotten about.
And I don't know if Howard Collateral remembers this, but Howard, he defeated, I think, one of the strongest speakers we have in Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much like a Pete Babcock, who's already in round 3, who took out a Scott Winters, much to Howard's chagrin. More on that when we'll go Patreon one day. But you remember, yeah, that was a pick a lot of people didn't expect. Lenny Wilkins, you know, we look at the resume, 3-time Hall of Famer, right? 3 different types separate inductions into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
An amazing public speaker. And Magnum TA, for those that didn't know him, for those that just, I guess, are wrestling fans and just that, they were probably the only ones that understood how powerful a force Magnum was, but it's the way he did it, guys. I'm going to ask Giselle this question. Giselle, do you recall Magnum was kicking back? He was sitting with ease. The guys overcome a lot of tragedies.
Yes.
Barely walking, guys, because, again, a motorcycle accident in 1986 in the prime of his career. Kelly White and Larry remember that.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, how reserved, how cool, how calm, how collective was he, Giselle? When we saw
absolutely nothing phased.
Safe place. He was not concerned at all.
No, nothing phased him at all. He knew he had this. You could see the respect there for Mr. Wilkins, but he was not intimidated by him at all. And they had a great conversation. They spoke a lot about the youth, especially Lenny, but Magnum that night was really on fire, showed us heart and soul and intellect and everything you need to win this competition. And if you get upset with somebody who thinks is a favorite, you're going to go far.
That Magnum was before my time, but I did go back and watch his match because looking at the list of stars, celebrities, wrestlers, just luminaries, everyone, he is one of the ones that brought me in to watch because he was the very first wrestler I remember ever watching, seeing a commercial of him. And my dad's like, this guy is amazing. And I started watching, and he is one of the things that got me into wrestling. And one of the things that brought me over to TKN to join you guys.
Aww.
I love that. I love that.
Nice.
And like on Magnum as well, I really do believe that he is one of those competitors who I think we barely scratched the surface of what he has to offer in round 1 and even in round 2. I cannot wait to see his match because I think he's got way more in the chamber.
I think so too. Hi, Hillary. How are you tonight? Thanks for being here on the post show.
Hillary.
Hey,
always here for us.
Hey, listen.
Nice.
Okay, so let me jump on to number 3 because I think number 3 is pretty exciting in itself. What about one and only the Sergeant Slaughter? Who can forget about Sarge? Everybody,
Man.
Yeah, how do you forget that Sergeant Slaughter's in here, especially when he had a match with Mick Foley and Cindy Pickett? I haven't forgotten. Has anyone else forgotten about Sergeant Slaughter? I haven't.
Definitely
not.
I certainly haven't.
Incredible.
Especially his stories
like
that he was
Chad
telling.
says, you know, he's not the name on the tips of the tongue because out of sight, out of mind. He hasn't been back in a while. So it's going to happen to a lot of the celebrities. So, yeah, I think Sergeant Slaughter is a great one to be number 2 on this list because he's formidable.
And be careful before you maggot. That's all, you know.
He'll have us all doing push-ups.
Remember, Sarge was one of the first people to say after his match, he goes, you know, this definitely wasn't a podcast. This was the best I've been a part of. And that's when people started realizing, I think fans and luminaries alike started realizing, hey, this isn't a podcast. This is an event. You're part of the event. And Sarge might always get his way. We always stand at attention and salute him high. But guys and gals and pals, Sarge barely advanced to the next round. Got about 3 more votes than Cindy. Of course, Cindy had the second chance bowl and she moved on as well. No more second chance bowls. But in that matchup, I think you're right, Chad. I think it's also about the pairings. I heard Kelly bring up topics, and he's right. That could dictate the outcome. But how about the pairings? How big a factor are the pairings in matchups, Miranda? Talking about who you're paired off with. I mean, you were paired off with John Amos in his final appearance anywhere on screen, of course. Dear friend, John. And, of course, Tone Loc. Matchups do matter, right, Miranda?
Yes. I mean, just the way that you are presenting yourself around others. And I feel like people feed off of each other too, the energy that people bring. And I feel like that matters a lot. And I feel like mostly the topics do matter. I will agree with Kelly on that because some people resonate with certain topics more. And we can tell when people really are like vulnerable and go in depth with a certain topic. And it's just, it really, really like hits me hard when people do that. I love to see people going vulnerable, showing us a different side of themselves as we don't normally see maybe in their, you know, in their work. And I think that's why people love TKN. They get to show a different side of themselves.
Miranda, do you prefer the matchups where people may have more similar backgrounds or similar stories, or do you prefer the matchups that seem completely out of nowhere on paper?
I think I personally prefer the matchups that seem out of nowhere, honestly, because then you get to see it makes more of a, I think, an impact when you see people who are from different walks of life, like how we saw tonight, kind of. They're totally different walks of life and different, you know, fields, professions, whatever you want to call it. And they come together and they have similarities. And then, like Avi says, they walk off as friends where they maybe would never have met each other if they weren't on TKN.
Yeah.
So,
Nico Hughes. Oh gosh, who else? So many
Teddy Long and Michael Cooper.
Yeah.
Teddy Long, Michael Cooper.
Yeah, guys and gals and pals. Again, Miranda's right about what she said. I concur. If they weren't on TKN, they never would have met. And guys, if I wasn't on TKN, I would not be hanging on the edge of my seat right now for Chad's next pick.
Yes.
All right.
So we got
3 to number 2. I hope you guys are excited because this name is definitely somebody to be excited all about. The one and only Mr. Robert Wall.
Ooh, yes.
I was waiting for Avi to jump in on this because I know Avi has something to say about Mr. Wall. Let's hear from Avi first.
I'm muting my mic. But I promise.
Why is that?
I'm still saying a lot. I promise.
Okay, well, I'll give you my fast rundown on why I believe he, is my number 2. I mean, in his very, very first match, he brought it. He brought it. Like, I mean, he's got a very creative mind. He's very, very knowledgeable. And I mean, he's one of those kind of people that if you forget about him, that he's even in this tournament, and then you get faced with him, it's almost too late to learn anything about the guy if you know nothing about him.
Do you agree that he looks like someone? He looks like someone who could be named Roy. He looks like a Roy, doesn't he?
He kind of does when he wears the hat,
right?
Yeah. And I ended up, judging his match with Medusa, and he jumped up and gave a clinic on the topic.
Yes,
he really freaking did. It was like even Medusa was like, "Wow!"
And he also didn't back down. I don't think people know this much about Medusa. Kelly, I know, definitely knows this about Medusa. She doesn't back down. She's tough.
No.
She does not back down, especially to any man, and I applaud her for that.
Yeah.
But God Almighty, Robert Wall did not back down either.
No.
It went back and forth. It was almost like a he said, she said kind of a thing. Do you remember that? He picked someone, she picked someone. He picked Howdy Doody, she picked whatever it was. I don't remember what his selection was, but he was fast in reminding people why he made that, why his choice was a more of an effective one than Medusa. He really does have spunk. They won an Emmy for writing the Oscar. Right? Arliss, the guy has a great story. And he's a good friend. He's a dear. He gave us a 100th shout-out episode. People hadn't seen him in a while. Robert's a writer, so he stays in the dark a lot. He's also, of course, an amazing storyteller, amazing actor. But, Robert definitely story, especially considering that his favorite topic is baseball. What if he draws a Ferguson Jenkins? There's those matches. What if he draws a Johnny Dickman, right? What if he draws some of our sluggers here who was still yet to appear around? So forward to that. Chad, who else you got?
Yeah, he's number 1.
Right. Well,
Number one.
is that a rebuttal from you, Mr. Kelly J. White? Okay.
I like the way you think.
All right. So I'm gonna take a page out of Avi's playbook here and ask Howard for a little bit of a drum roll as about to announce number one.
Ooh, yes.
And my number one pick for this week's top 10, the one. The
Wait! Don't say it. I know exactly who it is.
Who?
I know who it is.
Who is it?
Why should I say it? Why should I say it when I could show it?
Oh, I didn't know he was in this.
I just fucking love that clip.
That's so.
Love it.
We still have 1 hour matches. You never know.
Right. Well, Arnold's not as lovely as this person is, but let me tell you, it is the one, the only Miss D. Wallace.
That's a good pick. That is a good pick.
We do hear about Dee off and on, but I mean, she's been here for so long. A great asset to TKN. Mm-hmm. You guys all know what Dee brings to the table, and she's a threat in it. So.
Yeah, she showed up. One of those many stories. This should be a top 10 one day. Chad's gonna have to pick my brain so I can let him know some of the circumstances behind the scenes, because she showed up the night that her daughter gave birth. So she was in the actual. Oh yeah, she was in the hospital with her daughter, and I said she's supposed to give birth any day. I said, you want to postpone? She goes, no. If I have to do it from here, I'll step aside. I said, what? Even at birth? I mean, we're talking about the moment of conception. I don't know. I mean, look, at the end of the day, because Dee Wallace was on 9 months prior to that. She was also on 9 months exactly to the day prior to that. But Dee was there. She was steadfast. She wanted to show up regardless of what was taking place in the personal life. And she had quite the competition to become the top vote getter in a match featuring NFL Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, and Eric Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Those are no slouches right there. And she definitely had a lot to say in all three of her topics on a night where most of us would have been rattled. So, Dee Wallace.
And I mean, too,
true.
The night that she performed, she also, I believe she was celebrating, I think it was the 40-year anniversary of the release of Cujo. A lot of people didn't realize that.
Yes.
But I mean,
Good call, Chad. She was celebrating 40 years of Cujo. And guys, again, if you didn't catch this is going to be uploaded in a couple of days, in a few days this week. This post show will not be available once it's done. So if you refresh, you will see tonight's broadcast, the TKN Celebrity Tournament episode number 222, will be available. But this post show will be uploaded in long form in a few days in our video section here on this channel. Getting back to what Chad brought up, a celebration indeed for Dee Wallace. But right now, in case you didn't catch it at the tail end of our show, a celebration for Chad. Chad is our final number one pick. So round of applause to Mr. Chad Top 10. Perfect time to let him know that he's our final number one pick of all our second rounders. Miranda might have something to say about that because she's facing Chad along with Phil Justin. But guys and gals and pals,
I'm sure it'd be nice.
It won't be a surprise if Chad wins. It won't be a surprise if he moves on to, in my opinion, to round number 3. In my opinion, Howard Collado, I don't think it'll be a milestone. But you know what? In case you want a milestone, here you go.
I want to skip the flattery and the attaboys, because I do know this. The sooner that we become less impressed with our life, with our accomplishments, with our career, with whatever that prospect is in front of us, the sooner we become less impressed and more involved with that and these things, the sooner we get a whole lot better.
Ventura, welcome to the TKN Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. It's great to be here and great to be back interviewed by you. It's been far too long.
Oh, my dear, my dear, my dear, what an intro. Wow.
Oh, I salute you for everything you represent, my friend.
Boy, you do your homework. Whoa.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You know, I didn't even know some of that.
First name, John. John, welcome, my friend, to the Celebrity Tournament.
Well, Avi, thank you very much for that warm welcome. Oh, Avi, I'm welling up. That was extraordinary. Thank you very much.
Did you have a nice time, my friend?
I had a great time.
Let's sit back and realize what we've witnessed here in this tournament, oh so grand, where 131 Hall of Famers and Hollywood Award winners and nominees own this land as we discover and rediscover our humanity through open dialogue and expand.
What?
Man, it's been a year.
Oh my
Amazing.
gosh.
That was amazing.
I didn't say you said that, but I appreciate that. I mean, it's,
and those numbers just keep rising.
Yeah, just the growth in 2 weeks.
Rising.
Every single time I see those numbers rise, it always makes me so happy because, like, I mean, that 100,000 is just like staring at us right across the street. Like that's gonna be there, but like
it's
just
over there. Yeah, it's just like every time you look at it, though, it moves a little bit. You're like, come on, we can get you. You know, and I think part of that is, I mean, you look at, us, we're part of this, but the luminaries, and something you brought up, Giselle, the diversity of everyone involved. I mean, you just take our little section of screen here. I see 1, 2, 3 people in the New York City area. I see a dude from Michigan. I see a guy from Canada, a couple of West Virginia fellas here. You think, well, what can these people have in common? Well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that play D&D. And I see 2, and I'm looking at me. I'm looking at you, Larry. 2 that actually run a D&D game as a dungeon master.
Oh yeah.
So, what I'm thinking is maybe it's time to let Elven Cat out of the bag of holding. And let people know that there is another show on the horizon. Now, this is a limited run.
Okay.
Has everything to do with Dungeons and Dragons, but it's not the players. It's the Dungeon Masters. It's going to be called the Dungeon Master Challenge.
Oh. What is this about?
I love it.
Well, that's an excellent question. We're still working out some of the ground rules. Larry's brought up to speed on this, I believe. But in a nutshell, the Dungeon Masters during the course of the show are going to take turns presenting. Kind of like you take a topic and present it in a one of these contests that we do. But in this case, we're presenting our world and a scenario and a situation that begs for a solution. And right now it's planned to just reach out to the audience in general and get their feedback on how they would handle it. And there might be some D&D players that says, well, my character would do this right per, the edition rules. There might be other people that just freeform say, well, if I was doing that, I'd do this. And we're going to react to that. And it's going to kind of cycle around. And when it's over, and it's going to be a cumulative thing over a 6-week period, one of the dungeon masters that gets the most votes for their style of presentation, solution, and the innovation and creativity is going to be crowned the TKN Dungeon Master 2025.
Ooh, wow,
that's gonna be hard, man.
Nice. I keep a haircut just perfect for a crown.
Great concept.
Lord Larry sounds pretty good.
Lord Larry. King Kelly already has that's a tried and true moniker, though.
LL.
Yeah. I could buy some land.
For anybody out there that is watching, hey, Julio Negron, loves you. There's myself. There's Larry. We want one more.
Ooh.
So if you've run Dungeons and Dragons games, you're out there watching this, listening to this, give us a shout. We need one more person that can do a 6-week commitment to flesh this thing out. So I'm looking. So if you're that person, kind of curious, will it be 5e or what version? Michael, I'm going to lean towards most likely 5e. That will be a discussion. Hey, thank you, Lester. Once we find that third person, I think Larry and I both go back a few versions. So it's
I'm back to 3.5.
Back to 3.5. Okay, I go back to Redbox, but I hate myself a little bit. But most likely 5e, I would think it's the most. It's what's being currently run. It's the most popular. The new rules play right into it. The new stuff's being called basically 5.5 for the Court Rule Books 2024. Which, hey, I got the 2 of them for Christmas, so I'm ecstatic over that. So.
I want to ask Kelly a question, if that's okay. Kelly, being the DM. Yeah, being the DM that you are, Larry, you typically are a DM as well. You don't really play that much. I do want to bring this up. I want to ask Chad and Ramone a question as it pertains, and Larry, but Chad and Ramone first, starting with Ramone. What was it like being in Kelly's Dungeons and Dragons workshop?
It was very fun. Like, Kelly is a dungeon master that knows how to work with new people. Like, being someone who never really stepped foot into this world of D&D, I was just kind of curious as to what it would be like as a newbie, as a noob. And Kelly, he knew exactly how to teach me. He knew exactly how to guide me through making decisions. He knew exactly how to help me out with creating characters and all those things. It was very easy being in Kelly's class, and it also allowed you to be creative and figure out solutions kind of on your own. And only when you were very, very, very stuck, he was able to kind of give you that little bit of guidance to put you in the right direction. So being in Kelly's D&D group, he's a very, very good teacher.
Thank you.
Yep.
Chad?
And I mean, yeah, for me, I was totally green behind the ears. Still am. But I mean,
literally.
Literally, look at your backdrop. Look at your wall, Chad.
You're still a noob.
But I mean, that's a fun thing about it. You don't have to be, 15, 20 years into the game to understand it, to be jumping right in. Kelly takes his time explaining everything you need to know. If you don't know about it, contact him. He will take time out of his day to help you flesh out a character, to build anything that confuses you. He has such a love and a passion for what he does. You don't see many people that show this, or that you see the fire the way that Kelly presents himself in the way that he loves doing what.
And Chad, he welcomes everybody into not only his Dungeons and Dragons workshop, but what he's letting you all know right now. And again, we're going to spread the word. We're going to get more after views and people watching this show on a Sunday, Monday, and beyond. You guys can contact me, contact Kelly. He opens the floor for anybody to join in. Dare I say, but a Marcus Bagwell. I don't think he's invited.
No.
Kelly?
He might have some tech problems.
Well, I was just going to say.
Yeah, I mean, his tech problems might just rule him out, Avi. I don't know.
I'm not ruling out. Here's what I'm not allowed. I'm not going to rule out the fact that as much fun as we're having moments of levity after party, the fact that Hartwell's got something up his sleeve we're going to find out in the new year as it pertains to one Kelly White. Back, he was a little bit awestruck and dumbfounded as to rooting for him in a match against David Justice and Bryant McKinney. Speaking of which, Bryant McKinney and Buffalo tied a rare tie in round 2, but there are tiebreakers. You do not move on if there's a tie, which means essentially that both Bryant McKinney are going to go. But guys and gals and pals, I'll tell you who's not going to go at it again, because it is now time to reveal the results. Right here, in terms of television, guys and gals, we are at the bottom of the hour, soon to be at the top of our second hour, which is exactly when I want to reveal the results of tonight's matchup. Guys and gals and pals,
let's go.
Our top vote getter tonight, although he wasn't until topic number 2, is one Mark Metcalf. Mark Metcalf is the top vote getter in this match. And being a top vote getter, although I haven't announced it, I got some tricks up my sleeve as usual. Trust me when I tell you, being a top vote getter is going to help you in round number 3. It's going to help you. Can't tell you now. Give you an advantage. Mark Metcalf is the top vote getter. Guys and gals, in second place was the man who was there from day number 1, Mr. Glacier Ray Lloyd. He was number 2. Guys and gals and pals, in case you're wondering, if you're going to have to bid adieu to Mr. Cooper, you won't. Because Michael Cooper also moves on to round number 3. Because I said from day number 1 that if you have tech issues, I will sympathize with you. It is not your fault. That does not mean that you're the bane of my existence. It means that maybe tech is the bane of yours. And unfortunately, guys and gals, we're going to bid adieu to Jake Hager, who's been eliminated officially from this tournament, guys. Jake's gone. It is what it is. That's the words of Stevie. That's how the old mop flops. We're going to have a farewell video for Jake. We're going to play on Wednesday. This is a tournament after all, guys. Jake's a good guy. He's a smart guy. If you remember, he took out page after page of notes in his matchup with Robert John Burke and, of course, David Justice in round number 1. Man's prepared, not exactly thrilled, but again, that is how the cookie crumbles. Jake Hager has been eliminated from this tournament, and Cooper, Glacier, and Mark Metcalf will live to fight another day in this tournament. They all move on. Now, as sad as it is that Jake Hager is gone, after the conversation tonight, please jump in. Are we thrilled that those 3 men are moving on to round number 3?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, my gosh.
They deserve it.
I mean, I had the great fortune of, when we started this, when Avi started, this network, the early incarnation of it, it was him and Ray. And, watching them. And that was kind of my first exposure to this whole world of what we do, and watching them do their thing. I was learning so much. And Ray just always, and that journey he had with that amazing film. And him talking about it and putting it together into post-production, he was talking about it. That was just awesome. And I remember, Avi, I think I'd shared this before, a specific moment where Avi just allowed me to kind of like, I was just on there to play music. I'll play music, later, bye. I'm out. I'll end the show, play music, later, bye. And he'll pop me in every once in a blue. But I remember once he kept me on screen for like half hour talking to Ray, and I was like petrified. I didn't want to do this with the mic. I don't know how to talk. But it was a beautiful experience.
Oh, you forgot to bring this up to the viewers, though. You already played music for the man. It couldn't have gone any worse.
Yeah, well, we were talking about maybe doing a project together, but I won't disclose too much information about that. But no, it was really awesome for Avi to do that, and I really learned a lot that moment going forward. So that is so.
Guys, this is how brothers bust each other's. You know what? That's what we do. A sign of affection, sign of love. But Howard was there when the original network began, and guys and gals and pals again. You will be here when the Dungeon Master Special will begin as well, guys. This is going to be, again, an incredible show. I will let you know that it's interactive because you guys will be voting after each episode which Dungeon Master you think told a better story, which one had a better campaign for that evening.
Nice.
It'll be a battle of wits, guys, between 3 DMs, and it'll kind of go like this. One moment Larry will tell his story, and then boom, Kelly White's going to tell his story. Now, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to be. I'm not going to do it haphazardly. You'll have plenty of time to flesh out your story, but you will not get a warning. I will be backstage, and when it's the next DM's turn to go, you might be in mid-speech and go be backstage, and that other DM is going to have to pop up and tell his story or her story. It'll be pretty exciting, a lot of fun, fast-paced, but again, great storytelling. That show is going to be exciting. I personally can't wait for it. And also, guys and gals, to just kind of put a cap on this regarding D&D, we're going to have a show dedicated to D&D as well called the D&D Celebrity Show. So a lot of celebrities play D&D. Kelly and I know exactly who some of the TKN celebrities are who play this game. They're going to be part of the show as well. So if you're a fan of D&D, like Michael Lucas is, like all of you in the comment section are, don't worry. You're going to get your feel real soon. Guys, and speaking of soon, when I think of next week's match, when I think of how the new year is approaching and how soon that is, it excites me to the point where sometimes I can't control myself, to the point where sometimes I want to get on camera again, but I'm not going to because my hair is down and the sweat and the clothing that I ripped when I started realizing that all viewers out there were getting as pumped up as I am. The inner beast, the inner Avi came out. And that's why somehow Friday night I'm going to have to take a deep breath and get some.
Yes.
Serene. So, Miranda, please let the viewers who have no unearthly idea what the hell I'm babbling about right now, please fill them in on what the Serene Room is like.
So the Serene Room is a place where everyone in this tournament, maybe even viewers, who knows, green roomers. I've had so many people come into the Serene Room, but it's a place where everyone can go and take a deep breath and become more serene with themselves by sharing their stories with me. And then I give them some great advice, what I think. I think I've given some fantastic advice on the Serene Room before. But yeah, it's a peaceful place, as Pete would say. So that's why maybe me and Pete will cross paths at some point.
And guys, we're going to talk about everything, great institutions, great places of education. We're going to talk about the Newark School of Psychology at some point. We're going to talk about that fine establishment, Miranda, I think. And guys, again, the archives is something that will be debuting next Saturday on the post show. We can take a look back at some great moments. We tried that in the summer. Some great moments with Del Wilkes on Masking the Truth. If you guys remember the summer 2024, I pulled up some of his great shows that he had. We're going to be bringing up moments of the lake, moments of the Serene Room. Miranda once hosted an entire Green Room episode, guys and gals and pals. Yes. And many people sat there to receive your expertise, your advice, and they came out the better, I think.
For sure, I think so.
No jinxing.
Howard.
Yeah, I think they were definitely. It's definitely for the better.
Well, let's ask Ramon. Let's ask Larry. Chad's gonna be with us in a moment. Giselle, do you guys feel a little bit, I don't know, maybe moody during the week? You got the holiday blues. Or do you want to sit down and be able to maybe open up to Miranda on the Serene Room when it debuts? Do you guys want in on that? Would you like to be able to open up your heart and soul and mind and, of course, wallet, because she's not cheap. She charges a lot. Sorry, I don't want to hurt your business, but hey, you're at a premium. Would you guys want to sit on that chair under the tutelage of one Miranda?
I would do that.
Okay. Larry's in. Larry's going to be in the Serene Room. Who else? Anybody else?
I'd give
that. Honestly, sounds like a fun time.
Fun time.
Make her cry, but...
Okay, guys,
I think if we don't, we'll all be missing out on something.
All right, so hey, Miranda, again, as long as I get my 10%, these gang, they're going to be here on your account. They're going to be sitting here talking to you while you are giving them, hopefully as much as you give. It's 15%, actually. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
I'm not going to get political, but our economy sucks now, and it is what it is.
We're getting carried away now. 15%. You got it.
Yeah, listen, writing screenplays for Butch Patrick ain't cutting it. So, guys and gals, the Serene Room. It's going to be back. Can't wait for that. But guys, speaking of something that's coming back, someone who has come back from something very impactful is a man that already has left quite the legacy for us. His name is Larry. He's going to have a segment here called Larry's Legacy. And as a matter of fact, unofficially or officially, can debut tonight because Larry's got quite a story to tell, and he's brave enough and courageous enough to tell it. So, Larry, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. I've been thinking all week about this and what I would like to do and say. And I mean, the beginning's a good place. And this even goes to what Glacier Ray Lois said in his match about changing your world. Because, like I said last week at the beginning, I had found this lump on my throat. And my wife asked me to go to the doctor. I went to that appointment, and at this point, I was exhausted and tired because I was having a hard time breathing, and I didn't know why. And Kelly, you'll probably remember at the time I was using a walker at work.
Oh, wow.
And like 37 years old at that point. Cool. And I had tried dieting, and I thought I was doing really good at it at the beginning because I went from 289 pounds to 160 pounds at my lowest point. So I go to the doctor and I'm explaining things to him. I'm like, yeah, by the way, I have this lump on my throat. And he's like, I'm worried about that. I'd like to have you go get checked out. So he sent me over to have a CT scan done. And I do the scan. This was on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, he calls and asks me to come in for an appointment. So I know this is not good. So my wife and I went in. She's expecting mono because I was depressed. I was moody. I was not Larry. And to me, cancer was the biggest fear I ever had in my life. And I had only been married 2 years at this point and was literally just starting my wife with her. And at the time we had a 5-year-old. And the doctor turned to me and said, there's no easy way to say this. It's cancer. So he gave us the time to sit there and process. And I was ready to break. And I looked over and I saw my wife who had the same expressions that you guys have at the moment. And I just completely shut down my emotions. And I went directly to being rational and logical. And I turned to the doctor. And my first words were, how do we beat this? So I literally turned what was going to be one of my worst things into my strongest things. It turned out that I had a 70% fluid around my lungs. So I was basically drowning on the inside. And the doctor said he wanted me to go get another scan. So I went and had another scan. July 1st of 2013, he called us and said, I need you to get to the hospital now. I go to the hospital, and it turns out that I have blood clots through my lungs and through my legs. 70% fluid. They put me in the hospital. I was on some great medication. And I've hit kind of the tragic part, but I want to hit the lighter part of it too at the moment. I'm in the hospital. They're doing these scans, and they're taking me in for a biopsy to see what this is in my throat so they can try and figure out what the cancer actually is. So I go in. I'm on some really good medication. We had just been watching NCIS before this. This nurse comes in and she's like, what are you in for? My response was, I'm here for an autopsy. This poor nurse turned white. So I'm laying there, I'm being all goofy, and I've literally got my leg up, sitting leg cross-legged. So the doctor comes in. He's like, what are you here for? I'm here for an autopsy. He's like, well, I hope not, buddy. So then the nurse is standing there, and I've moved my leg, and the nurse visibly jumps. And I'm like, what is your deal? remember, I freaked her out once at this point. She's like, I thought you were an amputee. So there was a lot of levity within this in the darkest time. And that's literally just like within the first 5 days. There's a lot more to come, but I wanted to share that even though you're handed the worst news that you can have in your life, that sometimes it's not about you. It's about your loved ones. And when you may be at your worst and be ready to break, sometimes you have to be strong for them. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. My wife told me that when we found out that she needed me to fight and she needed me to be strong because she wasn't ready for me to go yet. And that began the whole thing. And there is much more to this, but I think that's a good place to share it this evening.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that.
That was amazing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, for real.
That's beautiful, man.
Sorry.
And funny at the same time.
Well done, bro.
I refused at that point when the doctor told me, stepping back just a little, when the doctor told me that I had cancer, I literally said, I am not going to become a statistic, at least not the negative statistic. I was going to fight. I was going to make it. And at the same time, I had the easiest diet I've ever had. They were doing a weight loss competition at the time where Kelly and I worked. I was like, man, I could have won this like that. It really turned, my sense of humor is very dark. But
he ain't lying.
That gallows humor, man. I love it.
Yeah. And anytime I see someone that is struggling or fighting, I usually, like, in the job that I work in, I work with older people, and they will tell me I have cancer. And I'll be like, oh, what kind? And they'll tell me, I'm like, you got stage 2. That's nothing. I'll be like, well, how do you know? I mean, I had stage 4 and I'm still here. I had a 31-inch mass of solid cancer around my stomach because it had started down there and worked its way up. By the way, Avi, you missed a perfect segue into this earlier when you had said busting each other and the you-know-wheres, because that is slightly offensive to my people because not fully equipped.
Man, you really think I'm inspecting that area down there, Larry?
No, I didn't.
I don't want to know about all that, Larry.
I apologize, Avi.
What I do want to know is this. And by the way, Larry's bringing up the word segue. I wasn't going to do this, Larry.
Oh,
let me show you how a segue is done.
Oh,
because my segues are heartfelt, guys and gals and pals. You're listening to a man who is a hero. He's a hero because of the fact that he trusts strangers for the most part that he's never met or broken bread with the exception of one Kelly White. He's able to share these stories with us in a way that affects us, despite the fact that we've never even shook his hand. What makes you a hero is trusting yourself and trusting others. Because you mentioned that your humor is dark. Well, we're living in a world right now that's kind of dark as well. Where neighbors and family members are not even attending Thanksgiving dinners with each other because of something as stupid and shallow as politics?
Yeah.
Really? Because of candidates that don't even know our name and will never remember it, even if we uttered it to them. So the fact that you're talking about something that we will remember makes you a hero. Because there are preventive measures, Larry. And the next time we talk to Larry, we're not going to get into it now. Larry, if you be okay with doing the following next Saturday, let's talk about what people can do to prevent perhaps any of this from occurring, which is getting checked up, which is making sure that you're seeing a physician regularly, getting it instead of letting it get ahead of you. So doing all of those things, I think, is important. We'll talk about that next Saturday. But again, guys, not easy to go up here live on a Saturday night. surrounded by, Howard's mohawk. Kelly's killer beard. And to be able to do what he did right now, again, you inspire people. And I told you how Jacques' girlfriend, Natalie, you heard her story. She heard your story. She shares her battle as well. And there's a lot of real moments here that I don't take for granted. So again, for doing what you did tonight, that makes you a hero.
Thank you.
But there's no better segue than a heartfelt one, because you are a hero, Larry. But watch this. You ready? But guys and gals and pals, Larry's not the only unsung hero that we will discuss here on the post show every Saturday night. As a matter of fact, Giselle, please let us know what unsung heroes are really all about.
Unsung heroes are those people from history that we don't know about, that most people haven't heard about, that might be a footnote, but really were instrumental in finding out how the world works, making some inventions, having some scientific discoveries, or just the silent ways in which they do things, much like our celebrities here who often give back, and we don't hear about that part of their lives. They want to keep that silent. We're going to hear about the people who don't brag about themselves, or who were almost lost to history because their contributions weren't written down perhaps the way they could have been or should have been, or just people who did great things that somehow never got brought up in school. I like to make things seasonal and topical. So when it's Black History Month, we'll have a lot of unsung heroes related to the Black and African American community. When it's Women's History Month, we'll have a lot of women who may have been overlooked. There are so many more. We've got Asian American and Pacific Islander Month, and there are so many other things in between there as well. So I'll be as topical as I can be, but also maybe we'll throw in a few historical profiles, and those will also show up on Paper Knife and on the socials. So there's always things to keep track of, because there's a lot out there. And if you have a certain niche, you may have heard of these people before. And if you've just got your broad historical education of the most important points through school, maybe we haven't. So there are a lot of important people out there. And maybe there are some that you have heard of, but you don't know in which capacity, why they might be unsung, what all of their accomplishments are. So even if you've heard the name before, we'll get a little bit more into what they've really done with their life and why they are so impactful, what legacy they've left for all of us here. So welcome to suggestions. Send those in, put those in the comments. What about it, guys, on the panel? Friends, Kelly, Chad, Howard, Larry, Ramone, suggestions?
I think we've talked about, I think I mentioned this. One of the historical figures I'm really passionate about is they're called La Mariposas, the Maribel sisters. They were huge in the Dominican Republic during Trujillo's reign. They were pretty much these revolutionaries who were kind of the catalyst for a lot of the social and political change that happened. But they met a tragic demise. He ended up gunning them down. But not many people know about outside probably from the Dominican Republic, but not many people know about these three amazing sisters. One of the quick stories is Trujillo. If he pointed at you in a party, you would have to come. You would have to dance whatever you wanted. And one of them smacked him in the face when he got a little too fresh. And ultimately that's how he became aware of them. But anyway, but yes, Giselle, I love the segment. All for it.
Yeah, we're all for unsung heroes, and guys, we're all for relatability here on the network. And there's nothing more relatable than knowing that we're all recovering from something. And Howard Collato's Walk and Talk recovery segment already aired the last 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. The first time it aired was on the Green Room, and then last week part 2 aired. And I do want to bring this up. Due to time constraints, Howard, we're not going to air the final part tonight, but we're going to kick off the New Year's post show with the last 9 minutes of Walk and Talk Recovery next Saturday night, start the new year. Because, again, I think it's very important for people to know that there are many things we can recover from. A lot of times we use the word recover and we think that it's recovering from substance abuse. We could be recovering from grief.
Yeah.
I'm currently trying to. There are people that are recovering from a lot of things in life, or at least they want to be on that quest. And I guess the best thing to do is to start a conversation, have some open dialogue, and much like Larry shared a lot with us, we're going to be doing that with Howard as he essentially walks and talks in the streets of New York, guys and gals and pals, or what some of you consider New York, but I don't. That's the borough of Brooklyn. Needless to say, guys and gals and pals, you're going to probably have to stomach the sights and sounds of Brooklyn, New York. But trust me, it gets better because, yes, the backdrop is the slums and the dumps of Brooklyn and the cesspool known as that horrible, hideous borough. But the conversation...
No, I'm from Brooklyn.
I've got more. But a lot more. The focal point will be recovery, guys. All things recovery. And it's beautiful to see Howard do it again, whether it's the frigid cold, whether it's the heat, guys and gals. Howard's going to be talking to different friends, different people he knows, and they're going to walk. They're going to have some coffee. They're going to be in a park. They're going to be maybe in some rec centers as well. They're going to talk some good old-fashioned, honest recovery. It's going to be great to be able to connect with Howard as well, because after each video is on screen here, you guys can discuss it. We can pick it apart. We can take questions. And some of you could join Howard live here on this discussion if you want to talk. Chad's done that. Chad's done that. We've had that before, so that'll be a great thing to do. Miranda, of course, she's part of the recovery show as well. So is Chad. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of things happening, guys and gals. The workshop is happening. That's returning. Avi Klein's workshop. It's free. It's going to air. It's mostly been behind the scenes. Ramone, I know that now you're taking your own improv classes, and you're enjoying that, aren't you?
I am. Very much so.
Well, great. Did you have a good time taking workshops last year?
I did. They and I've told you that the workshops have definitely helped me out with my improv classes. So they're very good.
I'm glad that you enjoyed them because they're free for all, much like Kelly's D&D workshops, guys. So again, beginner classes. I'm going to teach beginner classes and advanced twice a week starting the new year. Hope you all enjoy that. We might air one as early as January. Not quite sure about that, but we'll see. Interesting stuff indeed. So, guys, again, Pete's going to be on the post show in January as well. He's got a segment called The Commune. I don't know what that's all about. Kelly, by the looks of things, Kelly, are you a little intrigued to find out what this commune is all about?
I would say, yeah. I mean, if it were anybody but Pete, I would think, have a lot of positive thoughts. Unfortunately, with Pete heading a commune, it's, I'm intrigued, but also highly concerned.
A little bit. I could see Giselle does not favor this segment called The Commune for obvious reasons, right?
I do not trust Pete. He is pulling the wool over everybody's eyes with this peaceful persona, and I am not here for it.
Well,
I don't know what he's going to spew during this. I don't know if he's going to try to get people in line with his perspective. But I am very skeptical that this peaceful Pete can last.
Well, you know what, guys and gals and pals? He didn't last. There you go, Larry. There's another segue. He didn't last this past Wednesday when the Black Box Debate Tournament continued on with round number 1 matchups, guys. I don't want to give it away. All I will say is that the Black Box Debate Tournament is sort of a version of Grand we have on Saturday nights. Although the stakes are rather high because if you're tuning in on Wednesday, which, by the way, as of this Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, we will finally be debuting the Black Box on this very YouTube channel. Same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll also be simulcast on Joe Rezart's page for those who are familiar. So for the first month, it'll also be on Joe's page. But guys, look, speaking of Joe, man, he was involved in his first round Black Box Debate matchup this Wednesday. I'll show you some highlights. The winner of this Black Box Debate tournament grabs the final green ticket. I mean, it's the last one. Kelly's got one. Giselle's got one. The aforementioned Joe's got one. Miranda's got one. They can grab another. It's very useful, very important to have. Chad wants the green ticket. Chad, let me kick it to you before I play this very quick video. Why do you want to win the green ticket, Chad? Why do you think it'll help you? Why do you think it's necessary?
Why do I want the green ticket? I'm hoping that I do not need to have any kind of fallbacks, anything for a lifeline. But just in case, it's always good to have something like a green ticket in your back pocket.
But Kelly's already got a bunch. Why does he want more? Kelly already got a green ticket.
I do. I'm glad to have it. I got a few other things in there too. I've got like 80 vote points sitting there. I can name my own topic. I can call for a third topic. I can tag you in at some point. I think there might even be a mystery prize still in my bucket. One of those little question marks that I don't know what it does yet.
Yeah, guys, Kelly's got a ton of prizes. So the Black Box Debate Tournament really does help the competitor who is getting ready, getting primed, getting jacked behind the scenes for their second round matchup and beyond as well. So accumulating as many of these as possible is very necessary. Giselle and Howard, I know you guys are looking on intently. I'm going to say this as well, guys, before I play this video to recap what happened on Wednesday night. We're going to run first round Black Box Debate Tournament matchups all throughout January and maybe second round as well. We got some brackets so we know what the matchups are. We'll share them throughout the week. We'll post up the matchups that we have. Kelly will find out who he's facing in his round number 1 Black Box Debate Tournament. And if you get eliminated from that tournament the way Phil did, you're not eliminated from the big one. So you're still in. But yes, grabbing that green ticket is very necessary. You know what else is necessary, guys? We're talking green tickets. We're talking green backdrops. What about good old-fashioned green? As in what's in between, guys and gals. What's in between the lines. Avi's Cash, guys and gals. Last week, there were some predictions. And every single person here on screen and others that weren't predicted accurately. We've never had this happen before. A conspiracy, you say. The 1919 Chicago White Sox. A scandal. But what I will say is this. One person, and only one, can win my money. That's how it works. Chad, you won money before. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a special trivia tournament that will take place throughout Facebook. When you're posting, I'll be commenting on your post. I will ask you when it is an ideal time for you to comment and respond to mine. And you will then have in the comment section about 3 to 5 seconds to respond accurately to a trivia question that I leave in the comment section. Some of you think you might be able to Google this, but you won't. I know you're thinking that. I've already thought about it. You won't be able to Google my questions. Believe me when I tell you. So guys and gals and pals, the trivia challenge will begin for Avi's money. I was going to run it tonight. Due to time constraints, I'm not. Are you guys in favor of me running it on your Facebook pages all week long?
Yeah,
why not?
I'm good with that.
Very interesting way to do it, and I'm all here for it.
Well, it's a lot of money because, guys and gals and pals, we're going to double and triple it because a lot of you won. So one of you will get a big cash prize, which will be fun to give out. I've given them out before. One of you will win that cash prize. So stay tuned to your local listings on Facebook. The Facebook pages of Kelly White, Chad Top 10, Howard Collado, Larry Lemley, Ramone, Miranda, Giselle, and many more others who predicted accurately. But guys, again, one thing you can always pick accurately, as I mentioned, is the Black Box. That is a show you can't miss. But in case you missed Wednesday night, here is what you missed. Without further ado, guys, when I said everybody is going to compete in this Black Box tournament, which is that important, so they win this green ticket, I meant everybody, even those we've seen for quite some time.
How have you been?
I am still a impending threat.
But also, he didn't have to go through that because Glacier Ray had to go against B. Brian Blair.
If there was anybody here that I would peacefully and happily have lost to, it's you. You.
It creates this dopamine experience it creates this immediate high that's just based on likes.
I don't necessarily disagree with them, but I myself would rather spend 15 minutes finding out that someone is fake online than spend 15 years and have them stab me in the back down the road.
Moving on to the second round of the Black Box Debate Tournament is the one and only debuting Larry Lemley. Moves on by defeating Hauser Odolak. And of course, a brand new celebrity talk show will be debuting, not in the green room, but next Wednesday. I promised you're going to be seeing things on the Black Box from now on that you can't see on Saturday nights. The actual big and the biggest of them all, the grandest, most star-studded tournament of them all, is now going to feature Larry because, hey, that last individual who had that green ticket was also a participant. That means Larry takes that person's place. The question now is, will he win the green ticket? He's in the Black Box Debate Tournament. You guys are going to have two debate topics. Larry's going to judge both. Immediately afterwards, you will decide who your second round opponent is in the Black Box Debate Tournament. That's right. Chad or Howard will decide who they'll be facing in the second round of the Black Box Debate Tournament.
I'm a musician. Big fan of the hardcore scene that emerged in the 1980s. Now, that hardcore scene, on the surface, seemed very in your face. It seemed very politically charged. Right?
The way that we view things has to change. If we don't change it now, it is only going to keep going on in the future.
2-1. Guys and gals, Chad has won this matchup against Howard Collado. And I believe... Well, guys, in case it was accurately explained in that video, let me explain now the way that only I can. Guys and gals and pals, of course the ticket's on the line. The person who had the green ticket was also in the actual TKN, which means win or lose the Black Box Debate Tournament, and he won his first round matchup. Larry Lemley is officially in the TKN Celebrity Tournament.
Thank you.
He's in the tournament. How about that, Larry? Larry, you're in this thing. The door is closed unless we're inviting some 11th hour participants. There's still a few more of them to come. But Larry, you essentially are, I guess unofficially, the last one in the door right now. How do you feel about that?
It's awesome. It's an absolute honor, and I wasn't expecting it. And to be with these names and this talent that's on the screen right now, even though Ramone's not back in there yet. But you got a good match coming up Monday or Wednesday.
Well, you could be inserted. Well, you will be inserted into any match, and we don't know which match it'll be. Larry doesn't know. He could be inserted into the Chad Miranda Phil matchup in round number 2. Could be inserted in the Howard JW matchup in round number 2. He might be inserted in the Avi Klein Megan matchup. So who knows? You never know. What if Larry's going to be the Dan Loria, Dan Jansen, Joseph Rude match next Saturday? You never know. You have no idea. You will know. But guys, only Larry will know. He'll keep it from us. Guys, I'm not going to keep the following from you, which is the fact that if you win the green ticket, you're back in the case of one Ramone, who was eliminated, but gets a chance, gets a shot of not. This is a very interesting scenario here. If Ramone wins the Black Box Debate Tournament, of course, he grabs the green ticket, but in order to grab it, he has to be in the tournament. If he black box to be in the tournament, he's back in. How about that, Ramone? I mean, I see you on the edge of your seat. I like what I'm seeing. It seems like you are, after that experience of being on the first time with Stephen Tobolowsky and Eddie Johnson, it seems like you're ready to go.
I am, because when you get to experience something like that, you catch the bug. You can't escape that high unless you're able to just do it again. And the fact that I have another chance to do it again, the fact that I have another chance to get back into this, it just lights that fire inside of me to do even better than I did. I want that green ticket. I want back in this thing. Mark my words, man. I'm getting back into this. Darn it.
Getting back
There's
into
the
this,
Ramone I want to see.
guys. We all want to see that Ramone, but guys, again, black box debate tournament. That's one thing. You can predict who's going to win that one. But who predicted accurately tonight? Who predicted the winners of the matchup that aired this night, this evening, on December the 28th, 2024?
Good evening, everybody. It's your favorite green roomer, Peaceful Pete. And tonight on the we have Jake Hager. We have NBA Hall of Famer Michael Cooper. We have film TV great Mark Metcalf and Green Room Original pro wrestler, all around great person, the Glacier Ray Lloyd. And my prediction tonight is Ray Lloyd, Michael Cooper, and Jake Hager go on to the next round, folks. Those are just my predictions. Might not happen, but enjoy it, folks.
What a way to end 2024. We have a fatal four-way round 2 celebrity tournament match tonight. 3 of these competitors will advance based on your votes, and 1 will be eliminated. Competing tonight, pro wrestling greats Jake Hager and Glacier Ray Lloyd, NBA Hall of Famer Michael Cooper, and award-winning storyteller Mark Metcalf. Now comes the hard part. I think Mark Metcalf, Michael Cooper, and Jake Hager will advance this evening, and we may be saying goodbye to Glacier Ray Lloyd. But no matter who wins or who's eliminated tonight, they are all part of TKN's family. Happy New Year.
Are you guys all excited for tonight's amazing 4-way match? We have award nominee Mark Metcalf. He will be taking on NBA Hall of Famer Michael Cooper. They will be taking on pro wrestling great Jake Hager. The 3 of them, they will be taking on another pro wrestling great in the one Glacier Ray Lloyd. 3 advance, 1 go home. You pick 'em. I think the top pick is going to go to Ray Lloyd. And I'm not too sure about who will be going home, but maybe if I had to pick, I might have to say one Mark Metcalf. Those are my picks. We'll find out later on tonight. What do you guys think?
Hello everyone, Miranda here, and we are gearing up again tonight for another insane matchup on the Green Room's TKN tournament. It is going to be a quadruple match, that's right, quadruple match between pro wrestling great Jake Hager, pro wrestling great Glacier Ray Lloyd, Mark Metcalf, who is an award-winning actor, and Michael Cooper, who is an NBA Hall of Famer. This is insane. And I am predicting that Mark, Glacier Ray Lloyd, and Jake Hager will move on to round 3. but it's going to be a close call. We'll see what happens tonight. I am super pumped. Let's get it, everyone.
So, tonight we have pro wrestling great Jake Hager versus pro wrestling great Glacier Ray Lloyd versus NBA Hall of Famer Mike Cooper and award nominee Mark Metcalf. 3 move on, 1 goes home. I think the top vote getter will be Michael Cooper, and I think that Glacier and Mark Metcalf will be moving on. Those are my guesses. Now stay tuned after tonight's epic 4-way match to see the results in our post-show. Just refresh your YouTube page and it will be right there for you to watch. Take it easy, TKN fam.
Predictions. Ooh. Who's gonna win this one? Well, I think Cooper's gonna be first, and then next is gonna be Ray Lloyd, and then after that, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Mark Metcalf. All 3 of these gentlemen look great, but Jake, do your best. I know you can do it. Take care.
How about that? I'm going to ask Kelly a question, but before I do, I want to ask the rest who actually are watching themselves, making predictions after the fact. That's how we do things here at TKN, where we embrace all things strange and weird. Why not? What is that? What is it like, Ramone, seeing you after the fact? And what I mean by that is this. The question is this. Do you feel as if you're making a prediction based on who you want to see win? Or do you feel like you're making a prediction based on who you think will win?
For me, for myself, I am purely making a prediction based on everything that I've seen in the past and everything that I feel like they are capable of with the opponents that they have. It's not like, who I want. It's purely based on okay, so this is who they're facing. I feel like this is how they'll do against them.
I feel like you have zero bias because I know that you're like a Jake Hager guy, and you didn't pick Jake Hager in advance. So there you go. There's no bias there when it comes to Ramone. And guys and gal, Lester, Eddie Johnson, Stephen Tobolowski. I know you're not rooting for those guys.
All right, I'm out of here, y'all. Take it
easy. What happened there? But guys and gals, again, watching yourself leave a prediction, Giselle. What does that do for you when you're watching it after the fact?
Oh gosh. It's it really brings home how difficult this tournament is and that anything can happen on any given night. We don't want to see anybody leave, but it is a tournament. It's a competition, and only one of us will be standing at the end. So people are being eliminated. But to be eliminated and not even have your voice heard due to tech issues, kind of really predicting out of whack.
It's rough. It's rough.
I can't predict who's going to have bad tech on any given day. It could be anyone at any time. You can check it all week and be perfect, and then come on the night of, and one little thing will throw it off, and then all of a sudden you're out through possibly no fault of your own, or maybe you've been struggling with tech all week, and to see someone go before we've had a chance to see more of them is kind of it's a little upsetting. It's heartbreaking when we see the elimination and we see the person's name get blown off,
especially when they actually show up on air, Giselle, and they have tech issues while they're trying to get Zab Judah. Zab Judah was on air, and Buster Douglas was on air. And it almost reminds me of that scene in Platoon where Elias is like, wait, helicopter, I'm still here. Don't leave me. Don't leave me behind. And they're trying, and they just get shot down. They can't quite make it. It's rough. It's rough to see. It really is. It's very tough to see. That Willem Dafoe. But anyway, question for Chad. You're watching yourself after the fact. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we all like to think that we have our favorites. Okay. So I mean, I take my favorite right away, and then what I'll do is I'll go to YouTube and then I'll just kind of break down the matches again and kind of watch it, and then I'll kind of give it a different perspective. Okay, this is who I want, and
Right.
this guy really brought it, and then I weigh them out, and then this is the hard part. I shoot myself in the foot by making a bunch of wrong predictions.
Okay, you want to know how many predictions I've made actually? None. None. I haven't gotten any of these right, Miranda. You have, which is why you're up for my money as well. But what is it when you're watching yourself make a prediction after the fact? How do you feel about that? Does it make you think even deeper going into next week's match about, again, you do the research, Chad does the research. Does research play a role in making predictions?
Yeah, research definitely plays a role. But like you said, it's really hard to predict who's going to move forward. You know, how could we know that Jake Hager was going, and I pronouncing his name correctly, Hager.
What do you mean? Now or in the video?
No, now
Okay,
I know.
okay.
Now I know. In the video, I don't know who that was. But
If it makes you feel better, Howard's still the king of mispronouncing everything. So
oh
it's
yeah,
okay.
I mean that's fine.
That's okay.
I definitely know that. But yeah, it's hard to know because he had tech issues. He couldn't even be on tonight. So who's to know if that was going to happen, right? Nobody could predict that.
Nobody can. But what we can predict is those prediction videos will always air, guys, right before the show. Yours truly puts that together because I want to make sure that everyone who leaves a prediction, Ramone and Howard and Larry and Chad and Kelly, I will devote my Saturday night to all of you, regardless. And that's what I'm doing here on air as well. Trying to make it about you guys because you guys inspire me. You guys make me do this show. I'll share a little story with you as well really quickly since everyone's sharing stories. I still have a couple of people asking me, what's up with the cast? And they don't give you guys a chance. But once they do, once I convince them and twist their arm, they understand what's up with this cast. They understand that you guys are the backbone of what we do. They understand that you're right now in the forefront of what we do. They may not understand me saying anything now because the streets of Brooklyn in the background. Howard hasn't closed his window. The sirens blasting all over the damn place. But I'll
That's
tell you this
definitely Brooklyn.
par for the course in Brooklyn. But what I will say is that's again, wrestling terms, that's a shoot. All right. I have to spend my days talking about a Kelly and Ramone and a Chad and a Miranda and everyone else, not because you guys are but because I want them to devote as much time as they do to the celebrities. I want to give you as much time as they now. So is the journey a bit slower? Yeah. Convincing suits and ties to have a heart is not exactly an easy thing. Believe you me. Trust me. I can tell you that based on my own experience. But they're starting to see what you guys are doing, and they're starting to see that you're not a part of the show, that you are the show. And that's what it's about for me. So just put that in perspective, because on Saturday nights, when some of you, as you should, as I encourage you to, are out with fam and doing your thing, I'm here grinding. I'm here looking at Howard's face, Ramone's face, Larry's screenshot, their videos, their clips, their prediction videos. I'm doing my best to make sure you guys can show the world what you are made of. That's what we're all about here. It's a true ensemble. So, guys, again, we're going to get out of here right now. We got a cool outro to play. I'm going to have Kelly, Chad, Giselle, Miranda, Howard, Larry, Ramone. They're going to kind of hit us with a very quick, maybe 30-second verbal outro of their own in a minute. Let us know what their final thoughts are as we head into this new year, as we finish up 2024, maybe what it meant to them. Here is a quick video, guys, just to give you an idea of what's coming up. It's about a 2-minute, 30-second video. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. What's coming up? What's coming down the pike, guys and gals and pals?
And I love it, man, because it got me thinking. It got me thinking like I was back at school again. It was like an educational moment. Trying to like a science test or a math test, something like that, where you're trying to compete against everybody in the classroom.
Team. Now, Phil Jackson wasn't a guy who would approach these guys and say, hey, we're going to do this play, and that drill. No. Phil understood the psyche and the psychology of each of these players.
You had those that were supporting Muhammad Ali's decision not to go to Vietnam, and you had the other side that thought Muhammad Ali was a traitor.
Because when I go down to the abyss, myself and the lake dwellers are going to settle the score. One chapter at a time.
But there was this feeling of competition when I got on board there when we started the show, and then it became for me more educational, and it was like I forgot the competition. I really started enjoying it like a fun show to listen to, and so you're really bringing something to the table that's absolutely amazing, Avi. I didn't expect that when you called me, when you started.
That's what it's all about, guys. The reason why this post show again,
Amazing.
a couple hours, is because we don't want to shortchange you guys. We want to hear what you have to say, what Giselle has to say, what Chad, Kelly, Miranda, Howard, Larry, Ramone. It's all about you guys. It can't go 30 minutes when you got 6, 7 intelligent minds over here on screen delving into all of their passions, whether it's D&D, recovery, mental health, stage combat, music, artwork, survival, recovery, improv, everything, guys and gals. That's what these guys love, and they're always going to hopefully present it in such a way that speaks to you. They will speak to you right now, as a matter of fact, before our final outro to close out this new year, something I put together. Really, again, guys, starting with Larry. Even though I'm going to give you a solo layout, it'll appear as if the rest of you are backstage, but you're not. So let's listen to Larry, give the man his respect. Larry, close out the show. Starting with you, any way you'd like. Any thoughts?
I'm just happy to be here. The engine is phenomenal. I love connecting with you guys. I chat with a lot of people randomly throughout the week and reaching out. And this new family, everyone is awesome. It's just incredible. I love all of you, and I'm looking forward to what 2025 brings, because 2024 has been incredible. And the growth with TKN is just going, and spreading the positivity is amazing.
We appreciate you, Larry. Glad you know Kelly White, and glad now we know you. But I didn't doubt how much we would take to you, Larry, because you're Kelly's friend. That means you're a good guy. Ramone, your thoughts?
It's the holiday season. The New Year's are happening. Let's try to make New Year's resolutions just focusing on your happiness, focusing on your well-being, and let's make one big New Year's resolution to be not to break that New Year's resolution. Let's make 2025 our year. Let's make 2025 the best year that we can possibly make it. And no matter what you're going through, TKN will always be there to guide you and to be there as your comfort night. So good night, everyone.
You're a good guy, Ramon. We like you. You're a really good guy. You're a very passionate guy. You're very consistent. You're very thorough. You're very honest. You're very kind, and you're very present. And we appreciate your maturity and being a part of this great, great team, this great collective. Chad, my friend, I know that you might have 10, but just give us one reason why TKN 2025. Chad, of course, being a part of everything that we do. Chad, the floor is yours.
Well, I just honestly want to say I have to thank the engine first. Why? It's where I started off and I got my beginning in this place. Next being said, Avi Klein, the rest of you crew all around me, it's been a pleasure to work with you guys, getting to know you guys all year. TKN is home. I'm always going to call it home. And I cannot wait for the awesome things that we have coming down the pike in 2025. I want to see you guys bright, smiley, bushy tail on the very first episode of 2025. And don't forget, everybody, 2025 is our year to make a brand new difference in everybody's life.
Amen, Chad. Amen. Mr. Kelly White, floor is yours.
All right. Well, 2024 has been one heck of a year for TKN. The growth, if you go back to January, look where we are now. It's been amazing for me personally. It's been ups, downs, challenges. But the TKN family, and you know, most notably Avi Klein has helped me through a lot of that. And I know 2025 is going to be a stellar year. The thing I would ask of people going into 2025, you know, there may be some rough patches, but a little tolerance, a little patience, a little empathy. And as TKN has shown you, anything you can sit down and you can talk it out if you put your mind to it. Give it a shot.
Well, guys and gals and pals, we're glad we gave Kelly a shot because he's given us a shot as well by showing us who he is as a person. So great to meet you in person this past summer. Of course, many more to come. Been there for me as well, my brother, and I appreciate you a ton. Absolutely. And I'm going to say the same for Chad. I didn't bring that up either, but guys, Chad top 10. Man, oh man, if there was a blueprint for consistency, this man would win the gold medal. One of the most consistent people, one of the most passionate people, optimistic people, does it every day, brings it every day. We appreciate him every single day. And guys and gals, it seems like every single day I think of the past of the Green Room. I'm presented with the present. Someone who's been here almost since day number one is Miranda, who started out in the Green Room over 4 years ago, one of the first members, and is still here today. Your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Like you said, I've been part of TKN in the Green Room since day one, and I've known you for a while now, Avi. And I really appreciate all your heartfelt sentiments that you just shared, and always rooting for us and being there for us. And 2024 has been an amazing year. I mean, look where we are now. YouTube, 70,000 subscribers, and I know that next year is going to be even better. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely, guys. Anything can happen on TKN. We might even be seeing hip hop grannies pretty soon.
Hey,
Your appearance as well, guys. And Miranda, what she does, really just very studious. Pursued something she's passionate about, which is helping people. She hit the book. She cracked the book. She did it so very well. She's passionate about what she does. She's knowledgeable, a very bright mind. Someone who I remember in my workshops, along with Giselle, could go hours when it comes to any quiz I presented her. Probably one of the could type as fast as anyone I've ever met as well. So got a lot of skills for sure with a Z at the end, guys and gals. But hey, this is the end. And speaking of the end, guys, outro coming up to close the show. But Mr. Howard Collado, you're right next to Miranda. Give us your thoughts.
If we have put a smile on your face tonight, made you think about something you haven't, or if you've dealt with something, looked at something in an enlightening way, then we've done our job. But even if that hasn't happened for you guys, that's okay too. Want to just always thank Avi for just everything he does on camera, behind the scenes, his love, patience. God knows he has patience with me. I'm a work in progress. But I am just grateful to be share this journey with you, with all you guys on the screen here. What we've been able to do this past year, through ups, through downs. I can only imagine what 2025 has in store for us and what we're going to be capable of doing. You, the engine, I thank as well. You guys who comment and watch. We can't do any of this without you guys, so super grateful for you. And, you know, as Metcalf said it perfectly, this thing has drawn me out of myself and into myself. And I think that statement is just beautiful. So on and forward. Love you all, guys.
Love you too, Howard. And again, guys and gals, pals, first person I called was Mr. Colado. Second person I called was Glacier Ray Lloyd. That was about 4.5 years ago. The guy inspired me when I saw him in school do his thing on stage. And since then, friendship blossomed even more. We're in the trenches. We're doing our thing. And at the end of the day, guys and gals and pals, loyalty is our royalty. Close it out with Giselle with her final thoughts before we play our outro.
It's been a year, and it seems like only yesterday that we had Stacy Keach and Greg Louganis on the screen in round one. It's gone by so quickly, yet so much has happened. So many unexpected discoveries and new relationships. The Green Roomers, most of us met each other in person, which is really amazing to be able to say that I know these people I've only seen through a screen. We can't do this without you. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Engine. Thank you, mods. Thank you, admins, for being there with us each week and commenting and helping us get the word out of the wonderfulness that is this journey. And thank you, Avi, for bringing us all together. There were a lot of accomplishments in 2024. We had a lot of growth. I cannot wait to see where we go in 2025.
Well, I concur, guys and gals and pals. To be a good storyteller means you have to drive the car really well, not let your character drive the car. And I can tell you guys and gals and pals that Giselle definitely drove the car behind Kate Hart because she is a leader, and there's no doubt about that. Guys, enjoy your new year. You'll see us on Wednesday to kick off the new year on the Black Box right here on YouTube. We got Ramone versus, I can't tell you, but Ramone's going to be here in the Black Box Debate Challenge on Wednesday night. Who's he going to face? We got some matchups galore. We got a brand new celebrity talk show debuting this Wednesday night as well with one of our luminaries. You'll see who that is. And guys, again, next Saturday night, Dan Lauria, award-winning thespian, stage, film, and television great. Not to mention gold medal-winning Olympian Dan Jensen. And, of course, current WWE star, try to get one of those that currently works in the WWE, Joseph Rude, a.k.a. Eric Rowan, who cannot wait for his round 2 matchup. For Kelly, for Chad, for Giselle, Ramone, Larry, Howard, Miranda, Stevie Ray, who started out the show way back when earlier tonight. Hope you guys enjoy this outro, because trust me when I tell you, gives me goosebumps. Hope it gives you some as well. Our cast will be on screen trying to take this in. And to the cast, give me about 2 minutes once we're off air. Just kind of want to give you guys a private thank you. Enjoy this outro. And once again, guys, I hope that you tell anyone that you know that means something to you how much they mean to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.